Stop! Before you scroll past, do you know what's quietly slipping away from your garden right now? Let me tell you something about June that most gardeners do not know. June is one of the most powerful months in the entire gardening calendar. The soil is finally warm, the days are long, the light is strong. But most gardeners let it pass without planting the one category of plant that can genuinely change their garden forever: medicinal plants. And today, I am going to show you exactly which 9 to plant right now, before the window closes. I want you to stay until plant number 1, because it may look ordinary, but if you harvest it the right way, it can become one of the most productive medicinal herbs in your entire summer garden. It is fast, generous, and has a biological trick that makes it grow back stronger every single time you harvest it. And what I love most about this time of year is that you do not need a large space, a few pots on a balcony, a sunny window box. Let me show you the 9 plants I would choose. Plant number 9, Echinacea, also called coneflower. And the moment it blooms, you will understand why I had to put it on this list. Those bold purple or pink petals surrounding a raised spiky cone make it one of the most striking plants in any summer garden. But here is the part that fascinates me. That raised central cone is not just decorative. It is a precision landing pad for pollinators. Its architecture forces bees to brush against the pollen as they feed. Intelligent design from millions of years of coevolution. Plant Echinacea in June, and it will reward you with blooms, pollinators, and that wild cottage garden feeling for years to come. It is a perennial, which means it comes back every single year without you lifting a finger. Sage fails in many gardens for one simple reason. People love it too much. They water it like basil and slowly kill it. Those gray-green leaves with their soft, almost velvety texture have been growing in human gardens for thousands of years. Across Mediterranean hillsides, monastery herb gardens, and kitchen windowsills around the world. Run your thumb across a sage leaf, and the scent that releases is warm, earthy, complex. What you're smelling is a mixture of aromatic oils, the same compounds that have fascinated herbalists and cooks for millennia. In June, sage loves the heat and the sun. The trick with sage is drainage. It absolutely hates wet feet. Give it sunshine, give it grit, and sage will give you years of fragrant, beautiful growth. Thyme is the herb you plant when other herbs keep failing. Thyme is small, delicate-looking, almost shy. But this tiny herb has one of the longest histories of any plant in this list. Ancient Greeks burned it as incense in their temples. Medieval knights wore sprigs of it into battle as a symbol of courage. And today it grows happily in cracks between paving stones, in terracotta pots, in rocky dry edges of gardens. Thyme is built for June. Small leaves mean low water loss. Full sun means maximum aromatic oil production. The more sun thyme gets in June and July, the more intensely fragrant it becomes. And here is the thing about thyme that I love. It never complains. It just grows. Quietly, beautifully, generously. Lavender. I do not think there is a single plant on this list that transforms a space as completely as lavender does. Walk past a lavender plant in full June bloom, and something changes in you. Your shoulders drop, your breathing slows, your pace softens. That is not poetry. That is biology. The aromatic compounds in lavender, linalool, linylyl acetate. The aromatic compounds in lavender, including linalool and linylyl acetate, are often studied for their calming aroma. That is one reason lavender has been used for generations in gardens, teas, and evening rituals. And here is the June gardening twist that surprises everyone. Lavender actually becomes more fragrant when you slightly stress it. Drier soil, poorer conditions, full blazing sun. This is when lavender produces the highest concentration of its aromatic oils. The lesson? Sometimes the best care is a little less care. We just looked at 4 plants that make your garden look, feel, and smell extraordinary. But the next 5 plants on this list are different. These are the ones that move from the garden into your daily life. These are the plants you pick, you dry, you steep, you use. The ones that sit beside your kitchen door and become part of how you live. And the first of these 5 begins with a scent that can genuinely brighten a room. Lemon balm. Pinch a leaf and bring it to your nose. What you smell is not quite lemon, not quite herb, but something in between. Bright, clean, instantly uplifting. Lemon balm is a member of the mint family, which means 2 important things. It grows with extraordinary enthusiasm, and it should almost always be planted in a pot rather than directly in the ground, because if you give it freedom, it will take the entire garden. But contained in a pot, lemon balm is one of the most satisfying herbs you can grow. It fills out quickly, looks lush all summer long, and gives you an endless supply of fragrant leaves for tea, cooking, or simply rubbing between your fingers on a difficult afternoon. Plant it in June, and by midsummer it will be overflowing. Chamomile. Most people harvest chamomile too late, and that is why their homemade tea tastes weak. Chamomile is the second kind. Those small white flowers with their sunny yellow centers look like tiny daisies, delicate, cheerful, completely unassuming. But what most people do not realize is that the aroma changes when the flower is dried. The essential oils concentrate. What was sweet and apple-like fresh becomes deeper, warmer, more complex. The part you harvest for tea is the flower head, not the leaves. Pick them when the flowers are fully open. Spread them on a tray in a warm, dry place. Within a week, you have your own hand-dried chamomile ready for the cup. Start chamomile from seed in June, and it can flower within 8 to 10 weeks. Calendula, pot marigold. Call it what you like. But the moment you see those vivid orange and gold flowers blazing in a June garden, you will understand why gardeners have loved this plant for centuries. Calendula has a quality that I find almost philosophically beautiful. The more you harvest it, the more it produces. Every time you remove a flower head, the plant redirects its energy into creating new ones. This is called continuous blooming, and it means that from June all the way to the first frost, calendula can keep flowering if you keep picking. For a garden that gives you something every day, calendula is unmatched. And those petals? Dry them in a jar. Float them in water. Scatter them on food. Calendula is generous in every direction. Peppermint in a June garden is one of life's underrated pleasures. On the hottest afternoons, when the air sits heavy and still, brushing against a peppermint plant releases a wave of cool, sharp, instantly refreshing scent. That sensation, that feeling of immediate cool, comes from menthol, a compound that actually activates the cold-sensitive receptors in your skin without any change in temperature. Your body is being delightfully tricked. Grow peppermint in a pot, always in a pot, because its underground runners spread with impressive enthusiasm. But give it that container, give it moisture, give it a spot with morning sun, and it will reward you with lush, fragrant leaves all summer long. Cut it back hard and it comes back fuller and stronger every time. And here we are. Plant number 1. Basil. And I promised you something unexpected. So here it is. When you pinch the growing tip off a basil plant, something remarkable happens below the surface. The plant loses its dominant vertical growth signal, a hormone called auxin, and instead redirects its energy outward. 2 new stems grow where there was one. You harvest. The plant branches. You harvest again. It branches again. A single basil plant, correctly pinched and harvested through a June and July season, can give you enough fresh leaves for dozens of cups of tea, dozens of meals, and still look fuller at the end of summer than it did at the beginning. This is not just gardening. This is a conversation between you and a living thing, one that responds to your attention by becoming more generous. 9 plants, 1 June, 1 small corner of your world. If all of this feels like a lot, start with just 3: basil, mint, and calendula. They are fast, forgiving, and genuinely rewarding, even in a small garden or a few pots on a balcony. If you know your USDA hardiness zone, or just your country or region, drop that too. I read every single comment, and I genuinely love knowing what is growing in your corner of the world. And if you enjoy discovering the quiet wonders of plants and nature, subscribe to Rooted Wonders. I will see you in the next video.